we are going to discuss about in the week 1 about the Linux fundamentals and file systems. So among those, in the day 1 itself, we can discuss about the Linux. So have you heard about Linux anytime? So before going to the Linux, so let us discuss what is the operating system. So operating system is a system or a software that manages the hardware and provides common services for programs. So you are not get understanding by what. So by operating system where we are using, so it acts as the bridge between the user and the hardware. So for example, if you buy a new computer, so at that time like you are first thing you are checking like after turning the system on, we are checking like what is the operating system. So why we are using the operating system, because it acts as the bridge between the user and the hardware. Means the operating system acts as a software. So if you are a user, so if you want to interact with the hardware, means inside our system there is a hardware. So you are opening your laptop and clicking on your system. So by clicking, by our prompt will go to the hardware. So with the help of software. So without operating system, the hardware is useless. So if the hardware is present in our laptop, but without the operating system, we can't interact with our hardware. So we have like a different types of operating system like Windows, Linux, and Mac operating system. So the mainly operating system is like a manager in a company. So he is managing the resources like CPU, memory, storages, users, and processors. So we have like a applications. So for utilizing this application, we are having the kernel. So the kernel acts as a bridge between these operating system, hardware, and the software. So we can discuss about the kernel in later. So we have like a Linux. So what is a Linux? So Linux is a open source free operating system. So which was created by the Linux kernels in 1991. Linux was free operating system. We can securely and stably we can connect to the Linux. So it was used in different lot of servers and cloud platforms and embedded devices and desktops as well. So we have like a different types of Linux distributions as well. Why we are using the Linux compared to other operating systems? So the Linux has like a free operating system. Means everyone can able to use this Linux application. So it's a like community supported, which we can flexible. And we have like a Windows as well. We have like a different types of operating system. Like in Linux, we have like compared to the, if we take why we are using the Linux compared to the other operating system. So we have like a Linux. It was free and we can flexibly use the Linux. And we have like a Windows operating system. So the Windows application was graphically user interface. Means if we are giving the command, we can able to interact using the, just by clicking itself, we can able to interact with the Windows. But in Linux, we are able to interact using the commands. We are having like a commands. For if you want to create any new file, using the command, you can create a file using the Linux. If you want to create a folder, using the command, you can create the folder in Linux. So whereas in Linux, in Windows, we have like a graphical user interface. So means which we can able to see. So if you have like a file manager, there itself you can create your own file. But the Windows version was the paid version. So we have like a Unix as well. Before the Linux, the Unix was came, the Unix was mainly like a paid version. And it was a closed source. Only like vendor specific we are going to able to use this Unix. But compared to the other operating system, the Linux was free and open source, which we can able to use and flexible. And next we have like a Pi Linux, because the most of the 90% of the present cloud infrastructure mainly runs on the Linux. So it's a like a largest community as well. So many people are nowadays using the Linux because it has a like a lot of features. Using this, we can able to communicate with the users and everything we can do. We have like a different types of features available in Linux. What are the main features when we are able to using this Linux? We can discuss each and every term in detail. Linux was an open source operating system, means free and modifiable. Means if you are taking like a Linux was a free version, so you can able to using the source code management, and you can easily available from, we can view Linux from anywhere, and we can modify and we can distribute our files as well. So we used to have like a compare with Windows. So Linux we have like a lot of customization as well. Many companies like Google, Microsoft, Facebook are mainly customize the Linux for their servers, and there are like we have like a different types of internal applications as well. And we have like a in Linux multi-user and multitasking. They can means, so there multiple users can able to use the Linux simultaneously without affecting users. So means if you are having like a web server, so there are like a hundreds of clients using the web server. For example, if you take the web server, hundreds of clients using the web server. At the same time they are using. So we are having like a while running, we are taking like a backups. So it's a like a multitasking. There are like multiple users can able to use and access our application, and we have like a multitasking as well. So we can run multiple apps. So if, for example, if you take in your mobile, if you have opened your multiple phones in your system, same as like we can run the multiple tasks, like multiple apps in our system. These are the main features, and we have like a security as well. So the main security means why we are using, so to maintain our application securely, so without getting hacked. So we having like a security permissions and firewalls as well. So Linux has a like a strong user permissions. So if only like a admin, if we have like a admin permissions only, then we are able to using accessing some of the applications in the Linux. And we have like a firewall configurations as well. So firewall is like acts as a like wall to protect our application without getting hacked. So it acts as like a secure for our application. And we have like a stability. So without getting our application crashed, we are using the stability. So we have like a flexibility as well. So we can run Linux on almost any hardware. So from IoT devices and smartphones to supercomputers. So we can run our Linux in any system. So that's the main feature of the Linux. So for example, if we take the Android phones, so there you just say like a Linux kernel, AWS like Azure, GCP, and lot of virtual machines run Linux for scalability as well. We have like a lot of features. These are the main features of the Linux, and we have like a Linux distributions. So Linux distributions are nothing but the flavors of the Linux. So for example, if we take like a car engine, so we have like a different types of flavors. Same as like, I mean, what I mean to be is like, um, for example, if we take the, if your car, for example, if you have, so there are like a, the car has an engine. So use the engine is nothing but the kernel. So using this, we have like a different types of flavors. So flavors are nothing but the different types of distributions. So we have like a distributions are mainly called as like Ubuntu, Debian, CentOS, Linux Mint. So there are like a different types of distributions we have available in the Linux. So the Ubuntu was the beginner friendly. So anyone can able to use the Ubuntu. We have like a Debian. So it was a stable application and a server oriented as well. And we have like a CentOS, it's an enterprise production level distribution, and we have like a Linux Mint. So it's mainly our desktop focused. So there are like a lot of Linux distributions we have, and we have like a, before going to the Linux, so we everything like we till now we have discussed about the Linux distributions and features as well. So we can discuss about the architecture of the Linux. So what are the in Linux distribution? Linux mainly like what's the architecture it contains, and we can discuss each and every component in detail. So this is the main Linux architecture. So we have like a hardware, kernel, shell, and there where we are able to user interact with the shell, and there we can use. So let us discuss each component in detail. So we have like a factory. We have like, for example, if we take the factory. So in this factory, we have like a hardware, kernel, shell, and applications as well. So the inside the factory, we have like a hardware. So hardware is nothing but machines. So inside factory, we have like a lot of machines, right? And what are the available inside the factory? There are like a operators. So the kernel mainly acts as a operator. And we have like a shell inside our Linux architecture. So that shell is nothing but there is a man which gives the instructions for the operators to do something. So same as like we have like a some foreman giving instructions for doing something. So without instruction, the operator will not know right what have to do inside our factory. So based upon the instructions, the operator will able to follow. And we have like a applications. So where workers performing tasks. So the main Linux architecture we can define in this like an example in this way. So let us discuss each and every component in detail way. For example purpose I have given. So we have like a user applications. So there are like a, for example, if you user hit the applications, there are like a lot of features, and there are like a lot of commands as well. So we have like a shell. For example, if we take the shell, so the shell mainly acts as a translator between the user and kernel. So there is a user. So he will hit the shell. So mainly if you take the diagram, so there is a shell. From this, the system calls there is a kernel, and there is a drivers, and there is a hardware. So if there is a user hits an application, there will be like a, it will call the, from the application it will call the API, from the API it will call the kernel, and from the it goes to the device drivers, then it has a like a hardware. So for example, if we first discuss about the shell, so the shell is like a command interpreter, means translator. So many members people have listened about the translator, like for example if the conferences, so if the PM Modi come to Hyderabad, he haven't know Telugu. He want to say, he is saying in English or Hindi, but so many people not understand English. So there is a translator who translate the words said by the PM Modi from Hindi or English to native language of us. So he can translate our PM words which was said by the PM Modi to Telugu, and then people able to understand those words. Same as like the shell mainly acts as a translator between the users and the kernel. So we have like a kernel. So mainly the kernel is the heart of the operating system, lot of the Linux operating system mainly. So it was a main component which we are using in our Linux architecture. So it's like managing our resources and communicating with it's mainly acts as the communicating between the hardware. So from the user, it will, the user tells the instructions to the shell. So from those, it will communicate to the kernel. The kernel will communicate with the hardware. From those, we are able to manage our services. So for example, the kernel mainly the operator in the factory. So he is know about what are the things we used to do based upon the instructions provided by the shell. And we have like a hardware layer. The mainly hardware we have like a physical layer. So we have like a, in networking we have like a different types of layers. So as like we have like a physical layer. So we have like a CPU, memory, storage, network, and different types of available in the hardware. So the mainly the kernel communicates with the hardware, so that there are like a device drivers. Using this, the kernel communicates with the hardware. So if you observe this diagram, so when the user, like means you have the user, we have like a lot of applications. From those, it will hit the shell. So from the shell, it will translate what are the, we have like a set of instructions set. So from these, it will call the API. From those, it will went to the kernel. So from these, we there are like a lot of device drivers. So from these kernel, we can communicate hardware through the device drivers. So for example, if you are reading a file, if you are reading, for example, if you take this is a file. So if you are reading this, so there were like a lot of sending networking packets, and we have like a printing document as well. So we have like a different types of which you can see using the hardware. And till now we have discussed about the Linux architecture as well. So after this we have like a cloud. So what is cloud? So which we can see I'm asking about the general cloud which we can see from the sky. So from anywhere you can see the cloud, right? From US East, North Virginia, or else like Australia, or else in India, or else in Mumbai. From anywhere you can see the same cloud. Same as like we are using the cloud. So from anywhere we are able to using the application at any time you are able to manage and access using the cloud. The main uses of the cloud is for storing of our data. Means why we are storing our data in the cloud? We take cloud. So if we are storing, if you have done some project for 30 days, when if you take, if you done some project for 30 days in your college or else like in office. So if you have done some project for 30 days, for 30 long days you have developed for the one project. So suddenly your system got crashed or any laptop issue or something has occurred. So at the time, like if you have stored in your data, everything in the your local laptop or else like in the hardware disk or like hard disk if you have stored. Suddenly if our hard disk also crashed. So at the time what you do? You don't have any backup, right? So the cloud mainly acts as why we are using the cloud because for storing our entire data. So we can store our data from anytime, from anywhere we can use able to access our application using the cloud. So the main cloud is the delivering of computing services. We have like a computing services like a server, storage, databases, networking over the internet. We can access that. The cloud mainly access the delivering purpose. So why we are using the cloud? Because it's very cost effective. Means we can pay only for the services which we have utilized. Means if you are using the electricity bill, electricity. For example, if you are using the electricity in your lab company or else in your home, so you only pay for the services. Means how much electricity you have utilized, you only pay for the electricity, right? Same as like in cloud, we are paying for the services which we are utilized, and the cloud is mainly scalable. Where we can scalable means based upon a requirement, we can able to use the cloud. So and it's a flexible and accessible from anywhere, from any point we are able to accessing using the cloud.